You wanted the best. You've got the best podcast. The hottest podcast in the world. The Chris Voss Show, the preeminent podcast with guests so smart you may experience serious brain bleed. The CEOs, authors, thought leaders, visionaries, and motivators. Get ready. Strap yourself in. Keep your hands, arms, and legs inside the vehicle at all times, because you're about to go on a monster education roller coaster with your brain. Now, here's your host, Chris Voss.
Hi, folks. It's Voss here from thechrisvossshow.com. I'm thinking about adding a base there at the end of that where I'm going to just do the .com part. I don't know if it'll be funny or not, but it seems, I love the opera thing and the new thing we started 2 weeks ago, because after 15 years, I don't have to sing that part anymore. And probably everyone's sick of it anyway. Like, you have a horrible voice. So now we have an opera singer. So welcome to the big show, my family and friends. As always, in the darkness of the world, the craziness that goes on, the headlines, and sometimes you turn on the news, and lately it's been a little bit dark. We bring you the light. That's what the Chris Voss Show is about. We bring you the light in the darkness, the joy, the happiness, the inspiration, the motivation. We have these great guests that come on the show, and they're going to give you the tools. They're going to give you the vision that you're going to see to lead yourself out of the darkness. So, it's good to stay informed. It's great to tune in the Chris Voss Show as your respite, your rest from the world, the place where you can come and go. There's so many amazing guests in the Chris Voss Show. Where he does 15 years. He's been doing 3 to 4 shows a weekday, 15 to 20 shows a week. And I can go on there, and these guests come on and they share their stories, their journeys, their everything that goes on. You're never going to come on here and there's going to be doom and gloom. There might be some, some stories of, where you got to go through that you phase and the Phoenix thing, but we're going to uplift you people. So what I'm saying is, well, we love our guests that come on from CNN, NBC, CBS, and all the great news channels, and the Pulitzer Prize winner, and all those great guests that come on. Sometimes, switch over to us and you can enjoy their content, because sometimes theirs can get a little dark over there on the CNNers. But do stay informed as well, though, please, and from the right sources as well. Don't buy into conspiracy or TikTok memes. Anyway, guys, to set that up, as always, refer the show to your family, friends, and relatives. That's our guilt and shaming cue that we use. Go to goodreads.com/Chris Voss, LinkedIn.com/Chris Voss, YouTube.com/Chris Voss, and Chris Voss 1 on the Tickety Talkie. We've posting some of the great interviews we have over there in the TikTok format, which is really weird to take and do. As always, and I said before, we have the most amazing guests on the show, and today we have another, and I think he's going to inspire. He's got some great energy. Rui DeSilva. Let me cut that again. Rui DeSilva is on the show with us today, and he's going to be joining us to talk about his amazing company and what he does. He is an expert coach in stress management, and as I mentioned before, there's a lot of stress in the world. He has a proven track record of transforming and enriching people's lives globally. He's also known as Kutoshi. Do I have that correct, Clay?
Kuchi. Yeah.
So I think, wasn't that Charles' line?
Yeah, that's exactly where it comes from looking very young.
There you go. I remember Charo on the Love Boat. Was it Charo on the Love Boat? Yeah, she was always so wonderful. She ruined my, her and Dolly Parton ruined what I searched for women. He is the founder and head coach of Balanced Rebel, a health coaching company with over 2 decades of excelling as a regional director for satellite companies worldwide. He possesses an in-depth understanding of the immense pressures placed on professional executives. He's acutely aware of the toll that constant travel, multi-million-dollar targets, and other stressors can exact on individuals striving to maintain a balance between the professional and personal lives. Balanced Rebel was established as a holistic health coaching company to be a guiding light for busy professionals facing life's myriad of challenges, providing them with tools to improve their energy levels and to reclaim their lives on their own terms. His mission, if he chooses to accept it, he already did. His mission impossible is to unlock their greatest potential for success one step at a time. And he offers the tools to reclaim your life on your terms, unlocking your greatest potential towards your success one step at a time. And he was also named as one of the top 5 coaches to look out for in 2022 by Entrepreneurial's Herod. Welcome to the show, Rui. How are you?
Thanks for having me, Chris. It's
Thanks
a pleasure
for coming.
to be here.
It's a pleasure to be here, have you on as well. And you're all the way from Egypt too, as well.
From sunny Guna. They call it the Egyptian Riviera. It's very nice, actually.
There you go. The land of the pyramids.
Exactly. A bit more south. I'm 450 kilometers down the pyramids.
Well, that's okay. I think did the aliens build those things? You're from Egypt.
I honestly do believe so. Do believe so.
There you go. We have it official, folks, from the ground. So Rui, give us your .coms. Where do you want people to find you on the interwebs?
Sure. You can find me on the balancedrebel.com. So www.balancedrebel.com altogether. Or you can follow me on Instagram as i.coach with a K.
There you go. So I've set it up, but give us a 30,000 overview in your words of what you do and how you do it.
Of course. So basically, Balanced Rebel is an online health coaching company that is focused on managing stress, sleep, and recovery, right? We understand that we need energy to live and we can't make our own energy. And the ordinary habits that we keep repeating day after day, these are the ones responsible for keeping us energetic. And sometimes we neglect those habits. We neglect the way we sleep. We neglect the way we eat. We neglect the way we have joy. We neglect the way we actually age stronger. Understanding that aging is a reality, and the way we age and the way we deal with our ordinary habits is gonna lead us in the directions we want to go. So what we're gonna do and what we do at Balanced Rebel is helping individuals transform their ordinary habits into an extraordinary life by energizing them, by understanding that if you want to be a sustainable human performer, either you work or you're a housewife or you just live your life, you need energy to live. And I speak about the body, physical energy that we need to use every day. So what we help is individuals managing it, like you manage your bank account, right? So we help.
Wait, I'm supposed to manage my bank account? Is that why? Is that why I'm getting all those notices from my bank? I'm not managing it.
I guess so. So
they keep asking for more money, and I'm like, I already gave you some. What, you want more?
Yeah, here you go.
Hell, I still have checks. There must be plenty of money in there still. It's an old checkbook joke.
It's a little
Gen
bit
Zers like
that,
what are checks?
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah. These old jokes.
No, but so the concept is we help people managing their fatigue inventory and their energy inventory, right? So in a nutshell, if you are a CEO or a director, or if you're just a teenager, we need to learn how to manage our energy if you want to be a sustainable human performer and aging stronger. We all gonna age. That's a reality. We all gonna age. It's part of life, right? The way we age will be defined by the way we're dealing with our ordinary habits, and that's it. That's basically it in a nutshell.
Yeah, I'm laughing because I do a callback joke on the show where I'm like, I drank hard for 20 years, and I wasn't addicted, people. Please, I wasn't in AA. It was that kind of thing. I just abused myself, and I'll admit to that. I do the callback joke that at 55, I can feel like every drink I did for 20 years. It sometimes feels like that, but it's kind of a joke. But no, you're right. I mean, the way we live our lives. Do you find that a lot of people, a lot of executives that you work with, we kind of entrepreneurs, we kind of have this thing, and I was super guilty of it. I'll eat better later. I'll take care of myself later. I'll go to the gym later. I'm trying to make this money now. I'm trying to build this business now. When I started my first company, I weighed 20 pounds or something. I was like a rail. You could probably push through my stomach and touch my spine. I could eat like 10 tacos and they would just instantly ignite and evaporate in my stomach. And then when I started my first company, I started living at McDonald's and Taco Bell, all the places 3 to 4 times a day. It was just, and then, starting to drink I didn't start drinking in my 30s, but, and I was like, well, I'll make it up on the back end. We'll make the money now and I'll go catch up on the gym later. And, then, you try and have the energy, you're eating shit, you're living shit, you're not going to the gym, your health is shit. I ballooned very quickly into an incredible weight. And then you feel like shit, so you eat more shit because you think it'll make you feel better. And so it just became a spiral. Do you find a lot of people get into that mode where it's like, I'll do it later, and then later never comes?
Yeah, and it's all related with stress and the brain imbalance, right? Because we look into we put all our effort into pushing a company up and running. I'm an entrepreneur, right? I manage my own company. So I understand when we put all the effort there, but we need to understand that our effort comes from the energy we have, from the sleep we do, from the way we eat, from the way we move. By being physically inactive, by not looking into our nutrition habits, by not looking to our sleep, what we are doing is starting to run on empty tank. And what's going to happen, the brain will be in imbalance. And what we're going to do, we're going to start rewarding ourselves. And because the brain is in imbalance mode and our stress levels are very high, and stress can be anything. Stress can be emotional, mental, sensorial, physical, work-related, relationship. Anything can be stress, right? And as more as our stress builds up, and there's less stress management recovery strategies we do have in place, more rewards we look for. And food, sex, drugs, alcohol, everything can be
rock and roll.
A distraction. Yeah, rock and roll, screen time, you name
Sorry,
it.
you listed them all there. I just had to add
I know, Mr. Rock and
sex,
roll.
drugs, and rock and roll, baby. There you go, in Vegas.
I missed the rock and roll part.
Yeah.
So anything that serves as a distraction from our stress levels, that's how the brain is going to search for. So that's why what you just described that happened to yourself when you were managing your first company is what's happened to a lot of people. And we're currently facing a fatigue and stress epidemic because people are running on empty tanks and therefore they're too tired to cook at home. So they start ordering and they're actually not caring for the nutrients they're putting inside. They compromise their sleep to staying watching Netflix or other things. Nothing against Netflix. I'm just saying that as an example. But they start watching screen times and other things. So to distract from the real stress problems they have. And the vicious cycles continues and their sleep gets compromised. And as your sleep gets compromised, your ability to manage your stress gets compromised. And because your ability to manage stress gets compromised, your food choices will become worse. You start looking for rewards, your physical inactivity. And then it comes, as you exactly described, the frustration, the hunger, the fear, and you start feeling guilty because, I know I should be living, but I'm not living like that. And that starts building even more stress on your back. So what we're looking at is exactly breaking that cycle, understanding that if you want to perform and if you want to be a sustainable performer, you need to manage your energy careful as you manage your bank account.
There you go. Assuming you manage your bank account well.
Assuming you're managing a bank account.
But usually if you, I guess a good point on to put a bow on that is if you treat your body and your soul well, you'll probably end up having a good bank account because you take care of the, our bodies are kind of like a performance car. And we demand all this stuff out of them to make money and build businesses and be successful in what we do. But, if you're running the oil low in the car and the gas low and sucking up all the dirt out of the gas tank and, trashing it and parking it in horrible places, I suppose, that could be issues. So one of the things you build on your site is how to age stronger and experience transformation, how to basically age stronger so that you improve the quality of life. It doesn't digress. And I thought that was kind of interesting. You talk about the power of strategic breaks for stress management and energy replacement. And that's been something I've had to really try and focus on lately. The past few months have been really busy for us. And I've had to go, hey man, we need strategic breaks. So tell us more about that.
Yeah. So people think that recovery is a luxury. No, recovery is a necessity. No, recovery is a necessity. Go. So if you need the recovery, just put yourself as an Olympic athlete. Do you know any Olympic athlete that is constantly working out? No. And probably before their big competitions, they're actually resting. Why? Because recovery is important for the human body to perform. Now, one of the big things we struggle in life is time management, right? We overbook the day with more tasks than the day can actually handle it. And what's going to give us the sense that we don't have time for ourselves, we don't have time to do anything we like. So strategic breaks are breaks that you can do it on a daily basis, on a weekly basis, on a monthly basis, and on an annual basis that will allow your body to recover from the accumulated stress. Because recovery, like stress, they go hand in hand, right? Because stress accumulates, recovery accumulates. So as more blocks of recovery you have during your day, and as more blocks of recovery you have during your week, and so on, as more ability you have to manage your stress. So strategic breaks are very important if you're performing in a company, right? And you're going to be there 9 hours a day. You have to move. You have to make a small break and listen to your favorite song. Go have a conversation with your colleague about something that it's not work related. Call your mother, your friend, your partner, whoever you want, just to say, look, I miss you. I remembered you. Do a couple of squats in the office. It's a way of trying to introduce a little bit of movement in your life without compromising your time, right? Go for a walk for a 10 minutes break. Go outside, give a couple of deep breaths to help yourself, having the sense that I'm doing something for me during my busy day without compromising time. Because most people are going to say, oh, I don't have time for any of this. You don't need to have time. You have to make time, because no one has time. We have to make time for the things that are important and non-negotiable in order to sustain our performance. And strategic breaks, and I always say, it's not a luxury. It's a necessity. And today, in today's life, companies are burning human capital like crazy. And people are willing to compromise their health and their life for anything. And they forget that if they want to be in the long run, if they want to be a marathon runner, then they need to have the ability to recover. And how do you manage your recovery? By sleeping well at night and by doing strategic breaks during the day. I myself do my strategic breaks during the days. If I have tough sessions, and trust me, I do have some tough sessions. I go outside and I go for a couple of deep breaths. I do a couple of squats. I do play with my animals. I do things differently in order to sustain my reasoning. Otherwise, what's going to do? Building up your mental fatigue and your emotional stress, and at some point you just don't want to listen and see anyone.
And like you say, it affects how you deal with people. You know, you can end up being frustrated, you could be on edge.
Yeah, of course.
You know,
and how you eat.
You know, I know if I don't get my sleep, I'm going to be punchy, I'm going to be irritable. I know that if people say stupid shit to me, I'm going to want to rip their head off. And I'm not going to be Mr. Pleasant. And the judge says I can't do that anymore. The ankle bracelet comes off next week, but the pearl is still there. But no, you can't. You've got to recognize that. In fact, sometimes I'll tell people around me, I'm like, I haven't had my sleep today, so you need to just be wary about the Chris Voss. So keep your shit away from me. Keep your bullshit off my plate. You can bring it tomorrow. Just do that. And avoid people that think that it's fun to punch your buttons when you're in that state. But, you know, being able to identify when you're in that way is really important. Tell us about your journey. How did you get down this pathway? What influenced you?
It was quite, well, actually, well, I used to be the regional director for satellite companies, put satellites in space and slicing and dicing capacity for the 5G and things like that. And in the meantime, COVID hit the fan, and I was transiting through Portugal. So I'm originally Portuguese, and I went to see my mother, and the world stopped. Wow. And I had the luggage of a week stranded at my mom's house. And I could not travel to my houses because the borders were closed and everything. And what was supposed to be a week ended up being 3 months and a half. And during COVID, people thought that, we can't do much. I think the opposite. We've been given the gift of time because we always complain we don't have time for anything. And now we had plenty of time to do everything. I was lucky that all my friends were stranded abroad, so I could use all their houses.
Wow, that's a good deal.
That way was a good deal for me. So what I did was I isolated myself And because there's not much to do anyway. So I isolated myself from the world, and I did emotional reprogramming. I was doing it online through a Spain-based company. I did emotional reprogramming to understand, I'm 46.
Mm-hmm.
So at that time I was 43. And I said, okay, I reached 43 and I want to know does my software need an update? Like the phones that they need an update. Maybe I need an update. So I realized that I didn't want to live in a big city anymore. I was living back in Dubai at that time. And I thought, do I want to do the same thing? Do I want to keep living in hotels and airports and planes and a lot of pressure on my back? I was doing multi-million-dollar deals. And I realized that this was the type of life I was not envisioning for myself in the next years. But I still not very sure. And then I came across with the health coaching. And I said, I'm going to try it to see what it is. So I signed up for the largest nutrition school in New York. And on the spot, I said, okay, this is going to be my new career. I'm going to set up an online company, helping busy individuals. Then during this time, I realized that I wanted to elevate the game. And I took the first world certification on stress management, sleep and recovery. From a Canadian school. Mm-hmm. So, and in the meantime, I built up Balanced Rebel, and the name came because Balanced Rebel comes from the fact that we're rebelling against the established belief system that we're too old, our best days are gone, this is the way, or this is it, right?
But screw those people who say that. My back hurts.
But on a balanced way, because we don't believe in restrictions. We don't believe in diets. We believe there's time and space for everything in life, as long as we understand what type of relationship we want to have with those variables. Mm-hmm. So Balanced Rebel came with the name. We built up the company. We were very successful. Since day one, we had customers, which is something unheard for the health coaching industry at that moment. And since day one, we had customers sign in. And from that moment, we've been building up. And then we recently changed for the concept on this year. We started Aging Stronger concept, understanding that we don't want to just focus on these individuals. We want to focus on anyone that wants to age stronger, meaning that you can be at your top peak performance when you're 40. You can be at your top peak performance when you're 50, when you're 60. It all matters what we do today with your body. There's a saying that says, if you want to know what your thoughts were yesterday, look to your body today. If you want to know how your body is going to look tomorrow, look the way you think today. And that defines a lot how you're going to age. And that's what we put in practice. And that's where we are. And we're building very happy where we are now. We do corporate health coaching. We also help organizations to manage and educate their workforce on the ordinary habits. So to sustain mental well-being and peak performance in the organizations. We do one-on-one coaching to depending what type people come to me from weight loss to eating disorders, addictions, you can name it, because sometimes it's related with, most of these things are related with stress. So understanding how the brain works is what we help people, understanding what relationship they have. And we just launched this week the monthly online subscription, where we're going to put it at a very low price, the subscription-based model with group sessions and resources for people do self-coaching at home with a couple of exercises to do alone or in the office or with the family, so that can actually improve their life for those who cannot afford those one-on-one sessions or the companies are not investing. So just trying to help individuals to age stronger.
You know, and this all makes sense. There's so much data on it. I was watching an interview with one of the billionaires we've had on the show with Jeff Bezos, another billionaire. And they were talking about what his daily, Jeff Bezos's daily kind of operation mode was. And one of the most important things, I think he said he had like 3 things or 5 things that were the most important things. It's an interview people can Google. But the number one thing he had was get 8 hours of sleep a day. And that was his thing. He goes, get 8 hours of sleep a day. That's the most important thing. If you don't have 8 hours of sleep a day, especially at an older age, you're not performing at your peak performance. Your brain's not going to function as well. I know if I don't get 8 hours of sleep a day, I'm off. Yeah, I can feel that I'm off. I'm off my game. Sometimes, I mean, there's sometimes where I'll get 6 hours, I'll get 4, I'll get 5, but then I catch the other 4 on the flip side of a nap in the afternoon or something. But it has to be 8, like that. I have to get that 8. Otherwise, I can just feel the drag. I can feel the change. And a lot of people think that they can cheat on that one. And I don't think you really can. And part of it is what you talk about, the reset. The hardest thing I had to learn with lifting weights and going to the gym was giving my body time to reset and to recover from stuff. And sometimes you got to do different modalities, like, whether it's protein or potassium or vitamins or just going, there's some days I go to the gym and, if I did arm day, I'll sit in the massage chair and really kind of break up all those muscles and all those toxins that have built up from working out and try and recover. But your body needs those 8 hours to cell generate, reset everything, fix all your pains and get everything. It basically is repair mode when you sleep at night.
There's a reason for us to sleep to 1/3 of our life. And the reason is it's not linked with waste of time. Most people think that sleep is a waste of time because they actually don't know what happens from a physiological point of view. For example, during your sleep, your brain shrinks 60% in order to create space so that your metabolic waste in the brain gets into the lymphatic system. That's a simple thing. So if you don't sleep, there's no housekeeping. And if your metabolic waste keeps accumulating, it's just clutter. And the cells produce metabolic waste. Our body produces metabolic waste. So that's one of the examples when your muscles, they disconnect from the skeleton in order to repair and do low-grade inflammation. Your heart rate goes down, your cortisol levels decrease so that you're able to face the next day, right? So when you start compromising your sleep, when you don't manage your stress levels, and because your cortisol, adrenaline, epinephrine, all the stress hormones are on the peak, that gets everything compromised because the body doesn't repair. And we live in a society of the instant gratification. So we want to be extremely energized in the morning and we want to have the most repair sleep at night thinking that the body is a switch. No, we're not a switch. We work like a wave. So we have time to wake up. We have time to fall asleep. We can't just coming from stress, and things to do and kids and traffic and commuting and office problems and then coming home and expect that suddenly that stress goes down. It doesn't happen like that. If we don't help the body to process those things, what's going to happen is that it will build up, and that's when physical things start happening to you. Yeah. And you said it pretty well. If you don't sleep, you get cranky and moody and irritable. Your food choices get way worse because you start compensating the lack of energy with foods that are high on sugar and processed, so that to give you a sense of pleasure to the brain. So a lot of things happens during sleep. And sleep is not, it's not a luxury. It's a necessity for us in order to age stronger. I always start my sessions by asking, how do you sleep at night? Because the way you sleep at night is going to dictate most of the functions you perform during the day. And the same happens for companies. If I'm in the HR department of a company, the first thing I would ask to someone that I'm hiring, how do you sleep at night? Because that defines your ability to sustain your performance throughout the years.
Most definitely. I when I was running 3 companies, that's when I started drinking. And for me, it was fuel. So it was kind of a sugar going in my system, and I'd be like, yeah. And I was so stressed out that the alcohol relaxing me, what I thought was relaxing me, it's really toxifying you. But what I thought was relaxing me would make it so I could work longer. I'd be tired, and I'd drink some vodka, and I'd be like, oh, okay, I got some energy again. I've kind of relaxed from the stress. Blood seems to be going again, and let's, do the accounting work or whatever the hell it was. And, so I thought it was a fuel. And the problem was I was doing it at night. So I was like, I'll have a nightcap, I'll get some work done on the computer and get it going on. And then I go to sleep, drunk. And, I actually thought for probably two decades, I actually probably thought I slept better. And people would argue with me that you don't sleep better when you drink. It's bad for you. I'm like, no, I actually do. And you actually don't. It's the worst thing for you to do right before you go to bed. That and coffee, but that's another story.
Yeah, but you know why? Because some people actually use alcohols, particularly red wine, because it makes you a bit more sleepy to fall asleep. But the problem that happens that when the effect passes, your brain is going to be at the same spot as it was before you're drinking. So you're actually denying the body the ability to regenerate because the body doesn't have the process of winding down. So it's going to compromise the sleep quality, because sleep is measured in two ways: the ability to fall asleep and the sleep quality throughout the night. So alcohol does interfere on the sleep quality tremendously. It helps you to immediately to collapse you, if you want to use the word. It collapses me, because people don't fall asleep, they collapse on alcohol. But then you're going to wake up on the same thing. And you use it exactly as you describe it, Chris. You just said, I'm using it to relax. I'm using it to get the energy. Why? Because you are in a state of imbalance from a brain point of view. And your stress levels are too high, and the brain doesn't know recovery strategies. So the brain knows rewards. So the brain is going to ask you, give me some pleasure. Give me some fun so I can cope with this imbalance that I'm feeling. That's exactly what's happening. That's what.
There was a lot of fun on booze that happened.
I know.
Yes. I think there's some states that still have my kidney or liver in them.
Don't get me wrong. I'm Portuguese and I enjoy my red wine, but I put it on the place that I needed to place it. We because the brain tricks us very much on rewards. And we just need to understand, is this a reward, or this is a need, or this is a want? So sometimes you just need to make sure that there's no harm in drinking. What is the harm is when we use these rewards as a relaxation technique, because they're not really a relaxation techniques. They're just distraction.
Yeah. Plus the bloating, your body overcompensates for when you dehydrate yourself and you flush out all your potassium and your vitamins. That's what it does too.
And your microbiome.
Yeah. And it kills your gut. And so your body blow it up. It saves water. And so, I drink all this water after I drank and before I go to bed, and I'm like, pop a bunch of vitamins and vitamin B. And I'm like, I'm going to make up so I don't have a hangover in the morning. And then I would wake up and just feel like a rub tub full of water. And it would take 2 or 3 days to go. My kidney, liver would hurt. My body would be just like, fuck you, man. What the fuck? And it just came to a point where after 3 days, I was like, enough. The same thing with nutrition. Let's talk about nutrition, why that's important. What you put in your pie hole, what you put in your face hole is really important. That it's not trash too, because whether it's toxins like alcohol or bad processed food, that's another thing that can affect your energy.
Of course, because again, why do we eat? What's the function of the food? The function of the food is to provide your body with energy. We don't eat because we're hungry. Being hungry is the cue to eat, right? Because your blood sugar levels decrease and then your body needs energy. But the function of food is to provide energy. Then we give it the function of being emotional and social, right? Because we're social human beings, and emotional because sometimes we eat our emotions, right? And most of the times, unfortunately. And what's happening now is because we don't have time. We're so busy working. It's so important. Work now became a matter of life and death. Even sometimes we're in the fashion industry, they're selling bags. It's not a life or death situation, but everybody still acts like everything is a life or death situation. And then you ignore your eating. You eat at your desk, and if you ask to 90% of the people, I'm taking 10% because they're probably aware, but 90% of the people that they don't even know what they ate yesterday. And what you eat is going to become you. It's going to be your cells, your hair,
what you eat today becomes you tomorrow.
Exactly. So if you don't know what you ate yesterday, how can you manage your nutrition habits?
My scale knows what I ate yesterday. That's for sure. I see that every morning. Or what I didn't eat. And it's funny too. My scale sees when I sleep 8 hours. If I don't get 8 hours of sleep, my body will put on weight, and usually it's water weight.
It's and also you deregulate your appetite and the
Yeah.
hungry hormones.
Yeah.
So everything is related. Don't forget one thing, Chris. We are an integrated complex of different dimensions, all connected. So
Yeah.
your existential, your physical, your emotional, your sensorial, the way you move, everything is interconnected. And sleep is the rock star of everything because it controls and regulates so many things. And also regulates the brain, which regulates our ability to survive, which then it's in its state controls the way we eat, our relationship with our emotions, our relationship to our thoughts, and all this situation. So how you eat determines your energy. And I do a lot of exercises on myself. I do biohacking and I try experiments on myself.
Ah.
And yeah. So just to make sure that I walk your talk, So if I want to tell someone that what I experience and why nutrition is important, because if you eat highly processed foods, even if you have a business meeting, for example, or if you have a business lunch, there's strategies to engage your peak performance to your best, right? Because what you want to minimize is the impact of spikes on your blood sugar, like the breakfast we have or the lunches we do. So we need to make sure that your body has a lot of energy, not a lot of sugar, not a lot of foods that will affect your reward system. That's not the point of eating. The point of eating is not to have pleasure. We can have pleasure while we're eating, but the point of eating is to provide the body with energy. I'm not saying with this that we need to eat tasteless food. On the opposite. What I'm saying is that there's time and space to eat all this type of foods, not necessarily eating my emotions or my stress on a daily basis, or eating on the run or in front of the computer just to send one extra email with hopes that work is going to be over. Work is never going to be over. So we need to establish those boundaries for ourselves in a way that are beneficial from a work point of view and from a personal point of view.
So maybe establish boundaries on your food and what you're consuming. Maybe that sounds like a good idea. I've never thought of it that way.
Well,
Yeah.
we encourage people to practice the 80-20 rule because we don't believe in restrictions or diets. So what we encourage our customers or athletes, I call them athletes because we are all athletes in life, right? We're all in a journey, right? So what we encourage our athletes to do is the 80-20 rule, where 80% of your food choices are going to be energetic and 20% of your foods are going to be emotional and social. And that it means that you have time and space to eat all types of foods without restrictions. You can be on a weight loss journey without that, on that way. You can manage and control what you're eating, and you have the power to choose, because that's something we ignore, that we all have the superpower. We have the superpower to choose how we want to control our ordinary habits. And we keep ignoring them and neglecting them, right? And with the 80-20 rule, you can eat energetic. And energetic doesn't mean that you need to eat broccoli and boiled fish every day. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that you diversify your nutrient intake. You make sure that your food choices work for you. And you make sure that they provide you with the energy that your body requires. And the other 20%, go crazy. Do whatever you want. Be an animal if you want. Enjoy life as much as you can.
There we go. So give us your final thoughts as we go out. To tell us your pitch. I noticed you got some free ebooks on your website. How can people onboard with you, get to know if you guys are a fit, get your coaching, all that good stuff?
Sure. So I totally encourage everybody to visit our website. There's a lot of free stuff there. There's stress assessments that you can take. There's cooking books where we explain and help individuals how to start eating energetic, and a space for emotional eating also, because it's part of our life and we can't neglect that. You can book sessions online with us directly. You can reach out to us and book a complimentary session. So in order to start your journey, you can subscribe to our online subscription model that we just launched this week. There are live group sessions once every month, predefined, talking about different topics. And we have a lot of free articles that have been written by me or the team that help you on self-coaching and transform your ordinary habits into your extraordinary life and promoting your aging stronger concept. So that's so much stuff that you can do. If you don't want to engage with ourselves directly, you can also try and navigate and explore the site. There's a lot of free content there, and we please, by all means, do it.
There you go. Give us the .com one more time.
www.balancedrebel.com.
There you go. Thank you very much for coming on the show, Rui. We
Chris.
really appreciate it, man.
It was a pleasure to see you.
There you go. Thanks, Monis, for tuning in. Go to goodreads.com/Chris Voss, LinkedIn.com/Chris Voss, and all those great places on the internet. Thanks for tuning in. Be good to each other. Stay safe. And we'll see you guys next time.